We have a new ride to space. Tory Bruno's Space Uber has successfully delivered Suni Williams and Butch Williams to the International Space Station. The new spacecraft responsible for this, of course, is the new Boeing Starliner, which launched on top of an Atlas rocket Wednesday morning at 10:52 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. More details to come on your next space pod for June 8th, 2024. This launch was incredibly important for three reasons. This is the first mission that finally provides a second option for astronauts to launch to the space station from U.S. soil. The second reason is that the spacecraft itself launches on something other than the Falcon 9. Additionally, this also marks the first time since 1961 that an Atlas has actually launched crew. Finally, this was the first ever woman pilot to test flight of a spacecraft, breaking a huge record, something the space program needs, since China is kicking our butts in space, which we will talk about in a few minutes. This Starliner mission was originally supposed to go up on May 7th, but just around 2 hours to go into liftoff, a problem was identified on the Centaur upper stage oxygen solenoid relief valve. This, of course, caused a scrub for the day. Boeing and ULA are not taking any chances here as we have crew on board, and also considering the ultra-high stakes this mission has been involved in. This type of repair requires the booster to be pushed back to the vertical integration facility for the reasons that a manned spacecraft attached would make the repair dangerous if left on the pad. But this did not stop a second scrub from occurring last weekend on June 1st. At approximately 3.5 minutes left into the count, a ground system fault triggered, forcing a scrub for the day, which breaks down to a computer software issue on the launch pad side. These things happen as new spacecrafts being integrated into new rockets will test even the most reliable vehicles. Despite the ongoing problems with the spacecraft, we are glad this mission was carried out. And it underlines the extreme importance of this mission, regardless of its past and cost. Starliner is absolutely incredible for new spacecraft fans as we finally diversified our launch assets to the International Space Station. Getting new people excited about space is what we do here, and finally something we can report on to get you more passionate about everything in space. Third time was definitely a charm, but more helium leaks were discovered in orbit. This made everyone at NASA on edge for almost a day, as the docking window was technically 25 hours away after launch. Now, for those that do not know why helium plays a role here, this is the non-combustible gas that helps power the onboard reaction control thrusters on the spacecraft, which are used for docking and general attitude control. Now, really quickly, we do need to address China making incredible space progress, which happened on Tuesday of this week. This mission was the Chang'e 6 moonlander, which landed on the dark side of the moon, which, if you are new here, is the part of the moon that never faces Earth. Not only that, this is the first mission ever by any nation to land on the far side and also bring up a moon sample back into space. We're going to deliver more news on the payload that it is delivering. It's supposed to come back to Earth, but that has not happened yet as the time we are recording this. And the final bit of space news, which has recently developed, is the IFT4 Starship flight test, which was a complete success, but barely, as missing heat shield tiles tore up sections of the ship. We usually don't report on test flights here, however. The mission did make way for the next big push for a targeted landing and reusability, so we thought it was important to cover that here. Consider this a bonus for space news. Here's a question for you. How long until Boeing will launch its second crewed flight to the International Space Station? My guess is 1 year. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. That's going to do it for today's Space Pod, and we hope you enjoy space a little more than you did yesterday. I am your host, Chad, and I will see you out on the launch pad.